The crash was magnificent, a ballet of twisted metal and roaring sea. My submersible, the Leviathan's Tear, groaned under the pressure as it plummeted, lights flickering like dying stars. I, Kael, once hailed as the deep-sea serpent, a ruthless salvager who plundered ancient wrecks for forgotten technologies, was about to become one myself. My obsession with Atlantean artifacts had led me to this. A fool's errand, many said, chasing whispers of a kingdom hidden beneath the abyssal plain. But the energy signature I'd detected, a pulse of pure, unadulterated power. It was too tempting to ignore. The impact was jarring. Silence followed, an oppressive, suffocating silence. I scrambled for the emergency lights, finding them still functioning, albeit weakly. Through the cracked viewport, I saw not the inky blackness I expected, but an ethereal glow. Buildings crafted from shimmering coral and bioluminescent flora stretched into the distance, defying gravity with architectural impossibilities. Atlantis, I had found it. Escape from the Leviathan's Tear was a harrowing affair. Using the emergency cutting torch, I carved my way out, the metal screaming in protest. When I finally emerged, the water around me was strangely warm, almost comforting. The glow intensified, revealing intricate carvings on the surrounding structures, depicting scenes of a vibrant, advanced civilization. Suddenly, I was surrounded, not by the monstrous creatures I'd expected, but by beings unlike anything I'd ever imagined. They were humanoid, but their skin shimmered with an iridescent sheen, and their eyes glowed with an inner light. They carried spears tipped with obsidian-like material, and their faces were masks of cautious curiosity. I raised my hands in a gesture of peace, muttering the few phrases of ancient Atlantean I'd managed to decipher. "Greetings, I come in peace." Their response was immediate, a chorus of melodic, yet unsettling tones. One of them, taller than the others, stepped forward. He wore a more elaborate headdress, and his gaze was piercing. "You trespass, surface dweller. This is Xylos, the hidden city. You are not welcome." But my words seemed to fall on deaf ears. They were wary, distrustful. My reputation, it seemed, preceded me, even to the depths of the ocean. "Kael, the deep-sea serpent," the leader spat. "We know of your exploits, your plundering of sacred sites. You are a thief, a desecrator." I couldn't deny their accusations. I had done terrible things in the pursuit of profit and knowledge. But I had changed, or at least I was trying to. I was blinded by ambition. I confessed I seek only understanding now. They remained unconvinced. My days were spent in isolation, punctuated only by the arrival of silent guards who brought meager rations. I was left to stew in my regrets, the weight of my past crushing me. One day my solitude was broken. The guards parted, and a figure entered the chamber. It was not the leader, but someone far more unexpected. Zara. Zara was my nemesis. A rival salvager with a ruthlessness that matched my own. We had clashed countless times, each vying for the same treasures, each willing to stoop to any level to win. Well, Kael, she said, her voice laced with amusement. "Looks like we're both in the deep end now." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "Zara, what are you doing here?" "Let's just say I followed the same energy signature you did, and unlike you, I managed to sweet-talk my way into their good graces, somewhat." I raised an eyebrow. "Sweet-talk? You?" She smirked. "Necessity is the mother of invention, darling. Besides, I have something they want, information about the surface world." "And what do you want?" I asked, suspicious. "And perhaps a chance to redeem myself, this city. It's magnificent, and it's in danger." She explained that the energy source that powered Xylos, the very lifeblood of the city, was failing. A slow, insidious decay was spreading through the coral structures, the bioluminescent flora, and even the Atlanteans themselves. They had tried everything to stop it, but nothing had worked. "They believe it's connected to something in the abyssal trench, a place even they fear," Zara said. "They need someone who knows the depths, someone who isn't afraid to get their hands dirty." The idea of working with Zara, of trusting her, was repulsive. But the alternative, Watching this incredible civilization crumble was even worse. I had spent my life plundering the ocean's secrets. Perhaps it was time to use my skills to protect them. "What's your plan?" I asked, grudgingly. Zara outlined a daring plan to venture into the abyssal trench, locate the source of the decay, and find a way to stop it. It was a perilous undertaking, one that would require all our skills and a healthy dose of luck. We convinced the Atlantean Council to give us a chance, arguing that our combined knowledge of the deep sea and our past transgressions made us uniquely qualified to face the threat. They were reluctant, but desperate. They provided us with a modified Atlantean submersible, equipped with advanced scanning technology and powerful weaponry. The journey into the abyssal trench was a descent into nightmare. The pressure was immense, the darkness absolute strange. Bioluminescent creatures flickered in the gloom, their forms grotesque and unsettling. Zara and I worked together, our rivalry temporarily forgotten in the face of the overwhelming danger. She was surprisingly competent, her knowledge of marine biology proving invaluable. I, in turn, used my experience navigating treacherous wrecks to guide us through the labyrinthine trenches. We bickered constantly, our old animosity simmering beneath the surface. But we also learned to rely on each other, to trust each other's instincts. A grudging respect began to blossom between us. After days of searching, we finally located the source of the decay, a massive, pulsating growth of black, crystalline material clinging to the side of an ancient, submerged volcano. "What is that thing?" Zara whispered, her voice filled with awe and dread. "I don't know," I said, "but I have a feeling it's not natural." As we got closer, we realized that the crystalline growth was not merely absorbing energy, it was also projecting images, fragmented memories of a cataclysmic event. We saw visions of Atlantis in its prime, a glorious civilization brought to its knees by a devastating war. We saw the creation of the abyssal trench, a scar on the ocean floor created by unimaginable power. It's a weapon, Zara realized, a weapon created during the war, designed to destroy Atlantis. But it failed, and now it's back to finish the job. We knew we had to destroy it, but it was heavily defended. Strange, mutated creatures swarmed around the growth, their bodies twisted and corrupted by its influence. We engaged them in a desperate battle, our weapons barely making a dent in their armor. "We need to overload it," I shouted over the din of battle. "Disrupt its energy flow." Zara had an idea. If we could use it to overload the crystalline growth, we might be able to destroy it. But the device was risky. It was unstable, and could potentially trigger a catastrophic explosion. We would have to get close, dangerously close, to the crystalline growth to deploy it. We argued about who should go. I insisted that I was the better choice, that I had more experience with dangerous situations. But Zara refused to back down. She said she had a personal stake in this, that she needed to prove to herself that she could do something good for once. We piloted the submersible as close as we dared, then donned specialized suits that would protect us from the extreme pressure and the corrosive energy of the crystalline growth. As we approached the growth, we were bombarded by waves of energy. Our suits crackled and sparked, our vision blurred. The mutated creatures swarmed around us, their claws and teeth tearing at our defenses. We fought our way through the horde, inching closer to the crystalline growth. Finally, we reached it. The energy was almost unbearable, searing our skin even through the suits. A beam of pure energy shot out, piercing the crystalline growth. The growth shuddered, its energy signature fluctuating wildly. Then it began to crack, to shatter. The explosion was deafening, a blinding flash of light that illuminated the entire abyssal trench. The force of the blast threw us back, slamming us against the submersible. Our suits were damaged, our bodies bruised and battered. When the dust settled, the crystalline growth was gone. In its place was a gaping hole in the side of the volcano, a reminder of the destructive power we had unleashed. The city was safe. We limped back to Xylos, our submersible barely holding together. We were greeted as heroes. The Atlanteans showered us with gratitude, praising our courage and our sacrifice. Zara and I stood side by side, basking in the glow of the city we had saved. We were no longer enemies, but allies, bound together by a shared experience, a shared purpose. But our redemption was not complete. We still had to face the consequences of our past actions. We decided to use our knowledge and our skills to protect the oceans, to preserve the ancient sites we had once plundered. We left Xylos, promising to return. As we ascended to the surface, I looked back at the shimmering city beneath the waves, a beacon of hope in the darkness. I was no longer the deep-sea serpent, the ruthless salvager. I was something else, something more. I was a protector, a guardian of the deep. And I owed it all to a city beneath the waves, and an unlikely alliance with my old enemy. The ocean is vast, and its secrets are many. But I know now that the greatest treasures are not gold or jewels, but knowledge, understanding, and the chance to make amends for our mistakes. The path of redemption. Years later, news reached me Xylos flourished, its people remembering the surface dwellers who saved them, not as thieves, but as saviors. The alliance between the underwater kingdom and the surface world began. The energy weapon was no more, only a dark memory buried in the depths, and the serpent, once feared, was respected. I saw Zara again, the glint in her eyes sharper than ever, but this time, it was not of greed, but of something far more fulfilling: responsibility.